Welcome to Muscle in the Morning, brought to you by Iron Mag Labs. Make your mark. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Wednesday, July 20th, 2016. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. After making his best effort to hit every single 212 show on the early part of the calendar year, it looks like our old friend Kevin Ofurum is feeling rejuvenated now that he's officially entered his off-season. After struggling with health issues and injuries that kept him sidelined for most of the 2015 season, this year Ofurum came out like a man on fire, blasting his way through 5 early shows and collecting a handful of top 10 finishes along the way. And now that he's officially entered off-season mode, it looks like he's made a commitment to getting back to some good old-fashioned Texas-style, big and heavy training right from the jump. Ofurum was able to showcase some solid improvements this year, so hopefully with a nice long injury-free offseason in front of him, he'll be able to keep the momentum rolling and come back next year bigger and better than ever. Fact, there may not be anyone prepping for this year's Fitness Olympia working harder than Whitney Jones right now. Late last week, this fitness force of nature released some training footage from her current Olympia prep, giving her fans a behind-the-scenes peek at what it takes to become one of the most dominant athletes in her sport. Jones has been on a tear since last year's Olympia and hasn't placed outside of the top 2 at any point dating back to last year's Phoenix Europa Pro. If she can keep up this frantic level of intensity and bring in her all-time best to this year's contest, she stands as good a shot as anyone as giving reigning champ Oksana Grashina a run for her money. It's been almost 2 years since we last saw former NPC National Lightweight Champion Terence Ruffin hit the stage. But in just under 2 weeks from now, that's all going to change. Ruffin has put in some serious work since turning pro back at the 2014 Nationals when he was just 21 years old. But 2 years and about 20 pounds of solid new muscle later, the Florida native is almost ready to introduce his talents to the classic physique world as he attempts to slide in and steal a last-minute Olympia qualification. Ruffin has the round muscle bellies and classic X frame that on paper make him a legitimate contender in every show he enters. This classic physique division seems to be getting more competitive by the day, but when you have that sort of raw materials as Ruffin does to work with, it doesn't become a question of if he can ever get the job done, it's simply a question of when. At last year's Figure Olympia, we saw a changing of the guard take place when perhaps the greatest athlete ever in the history of the figure division, Nicole Wilkins, handed off the torch to the current reigning and defending Miss Olympia, Miss International, and Miss Figure Australia, Latorya Watts. And after putting a big fat stamp on her place at the top of the sport with her big win back at the Arnold, the big question surrounding this year's Olympia became, is there anyone out there who could possibly slow Queen Latorya in her tracks? The Watts camp has leaked some sporadic progress photos over the last few weeks, and all signs point to her being right on track to deliver another championship caliber performance. And if she can indeed go back-to-back, it might be time to start asking what the likelihood is that she ties, beats, or does even better to Nicole Wilkins' record of 4 straight titles, and where that ultimately lands her in the pantheon of figure history. Generally speaking, you don't expect most rookies to fare very well should they happen to end up making their way to the Olympia stage. But then again, Nathan Asha isn't most rookies. 9 weeks out from making his first of many trips to the biggest stage in bodybuilding, the rookie phenom is looking every bit the part of someone who fully believes he's ready to be a contender right now at this very moment. Even with the high expectations heaped onto his shoulders heading into this season, I think that right now it's fair to say that he's wildly exceeded what even the most optimistic fans and supporters could have hoped for. And in a show where 2 top 10 finishers from a year ago, Dennis Wolf and Juan Morel, are going to be watching from the sidelines, the door is wide open for Asha to come in and possibly land somewhere in that 8 through 10 range and really set himself up as the athlete to watch heading into next season. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. brought to you by Iron Mag Labs. Make your mark. Check out ironmaglabs.com today. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Hey guys, it's Stevie B here. If you like what you're seeing, hit the subscribe button below and never miss another RxMuscle show, segment, or update. RxMuscle is #1. Woo!